Welcome to Only the Greatest Podcast, where we explore the vital connection between fitness and success in all areas of life. We are your hosts, Darryl,
Philip,
Shawn,
and our goal is to help you become the greatest version of yourself.
This show is brought to you by our one and only sponsor, which is ourself, OTG Fitness. OTG Fitness is a private personal training gym on the south side of Houston in Webster, Texas. You can learn more by visiting otgfitness.com or searching OTG Fitness on any social media platform.
if you happen to find any value in this show, all we ask is that you leave a quick review and mention specifically what helped you out. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with anyone you think may need to hear this.
We're just a couple guys that found life-changing benefits from fitness, and we want to share that with the world. So every single like, mention, and review really does mean so much to us. Help us grow this show and everything OTG is about by sharing with someone today.
Love it. I'm back in action.
Yeah, you're back.
Darryl
You've been
is
missing this guy for a couple
back,
weeks.
man.
I think I've just... Yeah.
Whoa.
Everybody's
Dang, calm down,
the crowd's
calm
off in a frenzy right now. I think I've talked about this on the show before, but you know how like it's been a while since you washed your car?
Oh, yeah.
And then like you go and you get it like serviced and washed and waxed, and you get Armor on the tires, and like you re-fall back, you like get in it and you're like, man, this smells
You got a new like smelly tree in
yeah,
there.
you got a new little tree. Yeah,
Black
black ice. Gotta have the black ice. And so like you re-fall in love. That's what happens whenever I'm gone from the pod for a couple of weeks. I went out of town for work and then extended it a little bit to have a little vacation after. So we are back. And Phil said something interesting a second ago. He said, we want to share with you all the life-changing benefits in fitness that we have found. And so today I think is a good one. There's a lot of crap out there.
Yes.
And we want to bust some myths. Y'all ever seen Mythbusters?
That's exactly what I thought about earlier. When I was like, I said, we're gonna, our nutrition myths busted.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and I'm not like, I feel it's definitely, a step above probably both Shawn and I on like fitness knowledge, right? It's what you do.
Right.
For a living.
Probably though.
But not definitely. I mean, you want to talk about fitness? I have an Apple Watch. Whoa, so I am fitness. I just literally
Darryl
got
is fitness.
I just got it today, and we can end the episode on that.
Shawn is running.
Because it's telling me I gotta walk.
It's telling me I gotta go right now.
It's telling me I need to walk right now.
Oh man.
But
yeah, for sure. Today we definitely have some stuff to talk about that, in our opinion, could change lives in the wrong way, right? We're trying to change lives in a better way. So we want to bust some of these commonly heard myths. And it is this first one, which we're going to talk about, which is how and why these myths start. Have a little bit of a tinfoil hat going on here in the first one, just a little bit. It's not a huge hat; it's a little one. But I think it is very true that some of these quote unquote gurus out there that you hear purposely try to confuse people, and they want you to feel like it's impossible without their XYZ system or product or whatever it is that they sell. That's a very unfortunate thing that I feel happens in our industry, but it definitely does. People, they want you to be confused. They don't want you to know what's going on. They want you to think there's some secret formula
that they know,
and they have it and you don't.
Yeah.
You only have to pay $99.99 a month for it.
Exactly.
And that's the only way you can figure it out.
That's the only way you can figure it out, dude.
Yep. And it's
So
all
what-
they're doing is making you feel like there's no actual work needed.
So the short version is if you feel confused and you feel like they're not trying to help you understand, then that's a red flag.
Yes. Something that I heard Lane Norton say, which we've quoted multiple times because
At Bio Lane. He's probably coming on the show soon.
that'd be great.
I mean, if he wants to get famous. So
that
come talk to
be
us.
a good move on his part.
Definitely,
Good move on his part.
Yeah. So Bio Lane, if you're listening, brother, come on.
But something that I heard him say one time was that real experts know how to talk to normal people and make it simple.
Yeah. True.
For sure.
If they truly know all the ins and outs of what they're talking about, they can make those who don't understand.
Exactly.
I mean, some may take a little longer, but I believe that 100%.
So if you're hearing things that are confusing. There's a good chance that they're trying to confuse you on purpose.
Sure.
And that is to make you think that they have some secret formula to success that you don't understand and you need their thing.
And I think while we're on this topic, or we're talking about a red flag, the confusion, I think the biggest red flag that I want to bring up, and then we can go into the rest of this, is if somebody is out there and their main lure, I guess, their main talking point is how fast.
Oh yes.
Ooh,
how fast they can make it happen. 6-minute abs, you know, any number of like taglines that you see. If it's going to happen right now, really fast, all they're doing is playing on humans' natural impatience. And, you know, cause think about society, right? We've grown from literal cavemen and women to, you know, now we live in houses and drive cars and go get our food at the restaurant instead of hunting and gathering. So amenities are something that we create, and they're trying to capitalize because they know that people want something faster. They want that, you know, the society that we have now with social media and everything, the clicks, you know, everything's right here. I can get almost anything delivered to my house tomorrow on this phone. Right. And, so just be wary of that.
Yeah, they're capitalizing on the emotional high that you're getting from the thought of it happening sooner than later.
You mean that? You mean I don't have to put in a year's work? I can be shredded in 12 days or whatever if I just do this thing that you're telling me? Yeah. That's.
I think something that can almost be like coupled hand in hand with that is targeted fat loss. I hear a lot of people talk about targeting fat loss. Like, oh yeah, use this to target your belly fat. Use this to target your bingo arms or whatever.
They're still playing on emotion, but they're playing on the emotion. That's the one thing that you care the most about, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't think, I feel y'all can both talk about this if you know more. I don't think that you can target fat loss.
No, your body is a lot of genetics definitely come into play here, where your body
and male versus female.
Yeah, well, male versus female. Yeah, part of the genetic piece.
Right.
But your body often gains and loses weight symmetrically in both directions.
Okay,
meaning that when you gained weight, wherever it came on first is often the last place it's going to leave.
Okay.
So, and another thing that people have to accept from a body image standpoint is even, you're overweight now and you don't like a certain part of your body. Just trust me when I tell you that when you lose 30 pounds, you're still not going to like the same part of your body.
Right.
It's going to stand out to you because your genetic makeup, it does stand out. Like with women, it's often the hips or whatever. And with men, it's the back kind of back fat, around the abdomen
or the
belly,
the big projecting belly.
The belly fat for sure. Yeah. And even when you lose weight, the neck, that's another good area. As you lose weight, symmetrically, you're going to look the same. You're just going to be smaller.
There's going to be less of you all around.
That's right. Yeah.
Anywhere there's fat, there's going to be less fat.
That's right. Yeah. Because
generally speaking.
Yeah. In general, for sure.
Yeah. So Shawn, that was a really good one.
I
don't even think that was on our list.
No, it wasn't at all. I think it's a great point. But one more thing that we do have here that I think is important is, another reason that these things spread and these myths become believable is that people that do lose weight in a certain way go to their friends, family, social media as well.
This is it.
And this is the only thing that works. And what's really crazy about this is if you ask a real expert, we don't know a whole lot about some of this stuff. We know the basics. We know thermodynamics, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But beyond that, there's a lot of unknowns in the nutrition space.
Sure.
And in my opinion, I don't know if you guys, maybe you have or maybe you haven't ever thought of this. I purposely didn't put it on the paper.
Shawn's thought of everything.
Great point. I purposely didn't put it on here because I wanted to kind of see what you guys thought about this. Something that's very interesting and probably a big reason these myths start is, let's say 10 years ago when I didn't really know much, right? Darryl, we've been best friends for a long time. I didn't really know much. I lost
a lot less 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I lost weight a certain way and I come and tell you that this is the way to lose weight. And for whatever reason, us humans, we believe that about what somebody says.
Right.
But I don't know anything. Okay. Yeah. This is what worked for me. But if I were to go tell you about the way the galaxy works, you would tell me, I don't think that that's true.
Yeah. You're right. I see what you're saying.
And it's because this happens because everyone has to eat.
Right.
So everyone is an expert about their own nutrition, but that doesn't make you an expert about everyone else's.
Right. Sure.
So that's just a very interesting thing that happens because of food is a necessity of life.
If somebody comes to you, I'm going to shorten this up and says, hey, this is the only way to lose the weight or gain the muscle or whatever. That's a red flag versus if they come to you and say, hey, here is a way that you can. And I know because I did it. However, figure out what works best for you.
Exactly.
And go from there. That is the approach that you want to hear.
That's right. But that rarely happens.
Very rarely.
People are like, this is what works for me. This is what's going to work.
They want to be the ones that know, the ones that provide I fasted. I did keto.
Yeah.
I did carnivore. I did XYZ. That goes down the line forever, right?
Yeah.
So only way, can't do anything else. Red flag right there.
Yep.
All right. This next one we're going to talk about.
Well, this is the first of the actual myths that we're going to bust right here.
Right. Yeah. This is the first of the actual myths. So I think that me and Shawn, especially Shawn, had good point. I think it is a myth that you can target fat loss.
That's true.
Myth, not just flat out not true.
Yeah.
And then what was the one that I said, that's not really a myth. It's just a red flag to consider. If somebody's telling you fast, it can happen now, 12-minute abs, 3-day fucking whatever, right? You can have this in a week. So anyhow, first myth right here, calories don't matter. And then I think these can go separately, but they go together all too often.
Exactly.
Only carbs matter.
Yes.
So Phil, I'll let you get started.
It's pretty crazy that people think that if you eat less carbs, you will lose weight. That's because you're getting less total calories.
Yeah.
Calorie deficits matter. You have to eat less, or you have to consume less than you output. This is a very complex matter. It's not as simple as I eat 200 less calories, I automatically lose that amount of weight. It doesn't work that way. It's a very complex situation going on here. But once again, referring back to a few minutes ago, we keep this simple. Thermodynamics tells us it is a law that you have to consume less energy than you expend, right? If you want to lose weight.
If you want your body to shed fat.
That's right. Just because you eat carbs, I can eat 1,500 calories worth of carbs every day and still lose weight. It's everywhere. I really don't understand how people believe this. When you look at the most in shape people in the world, like the bodybuilding space, professional athletes, 99.9% of them eat lots and lots and lots of what?
Carbs.
Carbohydrates.
Yeah. It's the most readily and easily accessible energy source that your body can.
Right. Glucose.
It's glucose, right? Because your body will convert carbohydrates to glucose once they're ingested. And that's the fuel source that it likes. Bam, let's use this right now. That's why you will expend almost all, if not all of that prior to your body using muscle or fat to burn energy, right?
That's right.
Because thermodynamics, eventually you're not giving it enough fuel, right? Glucose especially. And there's other factors here too, but
then body fat can come into play.
Then your body says, hey, I don't have enough fuel based off what you're feeding me. I have to use this storage over here. Plain and simple.
In simple terms, exactly. And remember that all diets lead to, I hesitate when I use the word diet. I always want to make sure that people are understanding it correctly, because just because something's labeled a diet is just your habitual eating habits. That's all the definition of diet tells us, right? But in the subject matter that we're talking about right now, all diets, the way that they work from a weight loss perspective is they help you get to a calorie deficit. If you go on keto, you eat 0 carbs. But let's not forget that also means you can't eat cookies. You can't eat cake. Yeah. Most fast food's going to be out of the question. Well, duh. Ice cream. Of course you're going to lose weight. Yeah. Because you're eating less hyper palatable things that you're going to overeat on a regular basis.
Yeah. So ketosis is a thing. However, I think that most people that do it, this is just my assessment, are not actually in ketosis. They're just eating less calories overall because they're on this diet.
100%. Right? Let's keep in mind that I've worked with thousands of people at this point with this weight loss thing, right? Especially weight loss is very much my specialty, right? From a nutrition perspective. And I've spoken with, I don't know exactly how many people that claim to be on keto. I guarantee you, I can count on one hand how many were actually doing a ketogenic diet.
Right.
They were doing nothing more than low carb,
eating less calories just because they took away a food group. Right.
That's right. Exactly.
And honestly, sometimes and we're going off in the weeds a little bit here. Keto involves a lot of meat, right?
Yes.
Typically. So a lot fat, much more calorically dense than carbohydrates and protein, right? Fat's 9 versus protein and carbs about 4, right? Calories per gram. So it's keto. I can eat that bacon. I can eat that ground beef. I can eat that brisket, whatever. Well, now you just ate, 500 calories worth of brisket when you would have eaten, maybe 100, and then you had a side with it and you ate 200 calories from your carb. Just something that can happen.
And in actual keto, it does have a good amount of meat, but it has even more nuts, fat, pure fat sources. You have to stick fatty meat, oils for sure. Yeah. You have to go super fatty meat from a keto diet. You know how people claim to be doing keto and they're eating like sirloins and stuff all the time? That's not going to work. It's too much protein, not enough fat.
Yep. And they still may lose weight because they're in a deficit.
They're in a calorie deficit.
Eating less food.
But they're not doing keto. And fasting is another good example. Fasting is nothing more than allowing you to eat less.
Right.
You can only eat so much in a certain period of time.
Yeah. I started to read on a study about fasting, and I'm pretty sure the one, and I can't cite it because I don't remember. I want to say Lowbliner posted it, but I'm pretty sure they did studies, and I didn't look at who funded it and exactly their trials or whatever. But I want to say they said that fasting it's in and of itself wasn't the reason why people were losing weight. It was because they were eating less calories because they had a 6-hour window or a 4-hour window. Or
I've definitely seen studies where people were equated calories. Some of them fasted for a good old the 16-8 fasting, and others ate 3 or 4 balanced meals throughout the day. Same results.
Yeah, same results.
But what fasting can do is make it easier to eat less because you're committed to not eating.
You're committed to not eating during these times. It can help you.
Yeah. And the main takeaway here, calories do matter, not just carbs. Eat carbs and you can still lose weight.
Carbs matter.
Yes.
Because they are a calorie.
Because there's calories inside the carbs.
Right.
That's it's a great way to put it.
And so bonus points about fasting is that you get to tell everybody that you're fasting too. All day.
I feel like it's kind of like
it's kind of like CrossFit. You got to tell, if you do CrossFit, you got to
come out, dude. Nah, dude, I'm fasting right now, dude. I can't. If there's not black coffee there, I'm not doing it. I can't come through, man.
Also, if you're drinking, if any type of meal replacement or protein shake, you get to tell everybody about that too.
Oh yeah.
I've seen this not a meme, but like a video that somebody made of a guy walking around the office
with the shaker,
and he's shaking up his protein.
Dude, I love
and every
that
time
video.
he sees somebody, he's like, a meal replacement shake. Yeah. I'm drinking a shake. And he tells everybody,
not eating.
I'm drinking a shake.
Just going liquid.
Just drinking a shake. Yeah. And he tells like 10 people. But anyway,
it's so unfortunate. So unfortunate, but so true that is a big part of what we see is people enjoy talking about it more than they enjoy doing it.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And, we're talking trash about shakes here. It's a good tool that you can use.
Sure.
Shakes are great.
You can get a little bit of calories in you.
Protein.
You can get almost all protein. You can get shakes that have a combination, right? They got some carbs and some fat and some protein in there, but it's a good tool that you can use. Either meal replacements or protein, whether it's isolate or whey or weight gainer or whatever it is that you're trying to do. There's different options and they're good tools you can use.
But they're a tool.
They're a tool.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Go, Phil.
Next myth that we want to make sure you do not believe is that any type of meat, fruit, or vegetable is bad for you.
Right.
In any way.
Any of these things, you're going to hear people tell you meat is bad for you. Other people will tell you fruit is bad for you. And other people will tell you vegetables is bad for you. And I'd like to add one here that we didn't add.
Okay.
And I thought about this when you sent this to me earlier. Fruit juice. I guess that goes in with fruit, but you will hear people directly attack fruit juice.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you should drink fruit juice, but
from a weight loss perspective, maybe not a great idea.
Right.
Is it going to kill you? No.
No.
Is fructose going to kill you?
No.
No. Is it going to cause your liver to explode?
No.
No. And that's what you hear online.
It's calorically dense.
That's right.
Generally speaking, right? Depending on the fruit, but because you're drinking all that fructose with no like starch in there, no
fiber.
I'm sorry, from the fruit itself, right? The apple itself. If you turn it into a juice, you're not getting any of the fiber from the apple.
So
itself.
it doesn't fill you up.
It doesn't fill you up,
issue.
And it's calorically dense, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to drink. I could drink 1,000 calories worth of fruit juice,
Oh yeah, in no time.
Very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, in no time. But if you ate that fruit, you'd be much more full.
Exactly.
And it is, in my opinion, kind of going back to the small little tinfoil hat that I have on, bold statements like this are meant, again, to confuse you.
Yep.
The person this person that's saying that to you is trying to make you have this epiphany in your head. Like, oh my goodness, I've been eating bananas my whole life.
I ate an apple. Holy shit.
And it's bad for me. Oh, this guy's a genius.
Yeah.
I need his stuff.
I prefer red meat, and that's not good for me because so-and-so said. One thing I want to add to that, Phil, I think that also that they're playing on the confusion thing again here, but I think more importantly, or not more importantly, just as importantly as that is they know that people want to have something to blame.
Yes.
Naturally, humans want to blame something, right? It's all this red meat I've been eating. It's this fruit juice I drank. It's this or anything they've been doing.
They want a scapegoat.
They want a scapegoat. Right. Exactly. People naturally want that. I mean, it's easier when you have somebody or something to blame, right? Right. 100%. So they're playing that. They're playing on that emotion.
That's a great point. I never even considered that.
Yeah. That's what they're playing on, right? Because they know if they can make Phil not only think, if I can make you think that not only that I know everything, which I do, and then also give you something to blame. And then I can sell you whatever it is that I'm selling. Right. And say, okay, now that you know that I'm a genius and I've told you who the bad guy is.
Yeah. We're both on the same team.
You give me $9.99 per day for 9 months. Yeah. Then I'll tell you how to fix this. Right.
Yeah, man. That is so true.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm a genius.
Right.
You're not accountable.
Yeah.
So it's this other thing's fault. So now the person feels good.
Yeah.
Right. Because they can blame no self accountability.
Yeah.
And now they have this like
I got somebody I can trust. I got somebody.
I'm in your corner now.
Yeah.
I'm in your corner.
I got somebody I can trust. I got somebody I can blame, and I have a resolution.
Oh yes, that's the triangle.
That is unethical capitalism.
Yep.
Is what that is right there. Right. They're playing on people's. Now, not to say like if you hire somebody like Phil as your trainer and he tells you, hey, write down everything you eat. What do you usually go 2 weeks?
Yeah. 2 weeks is a good time frame.
And he says, hey, look, I'm seeing that, you're drinking 2 Mountain Dews a day or whatever. Maybe we should, maybe you should cut back on those first. Right. That's not saying that. And Phil's probably right, but if he tells you to write everything down and tells you, hey man, you got to quit eating meat altogether, that's probably a red flag, right? So just think about, right?
For sure. And that's kind of the next thing that I wrote here. Like, let's use some common sense here.
Yeah.
Whole single ingredient, real food items.
Yeah. Like
no one's going to tell me that's bad for me.
No,
You're not going to tell me that if I eat broccoli, I don't always feel the greatest. And I know that, but you can't tell me that's the reason I can't lose weight, or that's the reason I can't have the body that I want.
Right.
Like, this is a joke. Like, please tell me this is a joke.
Yeah. So basically be aware of anybody telling you any one thing is bad for you and that you should not have that one thing.
That's right.
Because it's likely 99.9999% of the time, a combination of your habits in general that got you to the whatever position you're in that you don't want to be in.
Yes. And just remember that once again, real whole food items with single ingredients, that you can buy yourself that are unpackaged, unprocessed. The macronutrient and micronutrient breakdown of these foods are very difficult for you to overconsume. Very difficult for it to be considered bad for you.
Yeah.
And if you just do that, you're probably 90% of the way there, and you will feel better. You will move better. You will look better.
Yeah. I've talked about this several times on the show. I eat like between 10 and 15 different things.
Yes.
And usually it's more like 8, but I will branch out on weekends and stuff. And like 10 or 15, probably 15 ingredients. 90% of my life at this point is I eat one of those 15 ingredients or a combination of them.
We often recommend people choose a few food items to stick with that they know make them feel good, that they like, but vary your sauces and seasonings.
Right. Exactly right.
Because you're going to eat the same foods often, because a lot of people say they don't like variety, but at the same time they go to McDonald's today and Wendy's tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're literally eating the same thing. They're just seasoned differently.
Yeah. So, also I was going to say that, wait, what was I going to say? Oh, a hack real quick. And people are confused by this, which, I think that it's naturally people, I think that anybody who grew up in the normal American society and went to, and this is my tinfoil hat, and went to public schools or even some private schools. Have you ever seen the food pyramid?
Yes, sir.
It's trash, right? And they don't teach us true nutrition. They don't teach us how to actually go about it. And that's a whole nother topic. Hack. Read the labels. The less stuff listed on the ingredients list is the more likely that it's better for you. In general, as a general statement,
terms,
right?
Sure.
If you're reading the box and it's got 1 or 2 things in there, it's probably better for you than an alternative. Think about it from this standpoint. If you pick up a banana, what's the ingredients list?
Banana. And that's what I'm saying about whole food, single ingredient items.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just, I'm laying it out. So whenever you pick up a pack of sirloin steaks, there's one ingredient. Beef. Yeah. Right. Like, and some of this, like your stuff like that's not going to have, your banana's not going to have a label on it, but you get it, right? If you get a bag of dry white rice, now you got to be careful. It's likely going to say just rice, but some of them don't. Some of them have oils and salts and stuff added to them. You got to watch that. But if you pick up a white rice or brown rice and it says ingredients, white rice, that's probably the better option, right? So a less amount of words after that ingredients word is better. And once you start getting down to the bottom and it's stuff you can't pronounce, that you probably want to avoid that altogether. Now, there's some stuff that has a scary name that's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and there's definitely some of those as well. But I think this is great advice for general terms.
General statements, right?
Yes.
The smaller the ingredients list, the more likely it is to be the better option or better for you than the alternative.
Yeah, and when you're looking at that ingredients list, the 2 things that we always like to remember to look at are... Siri, you don't know.
Siri's telling me about...
what's she talking about?
The ingredients list?
Yeah, she is. Go away. Siri, go away. All right, carry on.
The 2 things, if you are looking at the ingredients list, we like to look at protein content and fiber content. If you look at that, and then I guess, we'll go with 3 for this situation, but protein, fiber, total calories. If protein makes up a good percentage of the total calories, you're in a good place. If it has fiber, you're usually in a good place.
Rules of thumb.
And keep it nice and simple. And let's not forget that some people do have some intolerances. Those are important. Like I just mentioned, too many cruciferous vegetables do kind of mess my stomach up personally. Spicy things I stay away from.
Yeah, just because it makes you not feel great.
I don't feel good.
I don't think I've ever heard that word. Cruciferous.
Cruciferous. That's like your cauliflower, broccoli. There's a list of more, right?
Yeah,
I think cabbage on there.
Cabbage, I'm actually okay with. I don't know if that falls under cruciferous vegetables or not. But like things like kale, but those are like green leafy vegetables. Yeah. But things with a lot of fiber in them. But yeah, Brussels sprouts as well. Oftentimes mess my stomach up, which is funny because Brussels sprouts are just small cabbages, right?
Yeah.
But I think
that's why I was saying
it's maybe the way that it's cooked, because cabbage is usually boiled, so that like I'm good with that. But yeah, it's weird. But anyways, know what you do and do not tolerate well, and stay away from those things.
Yeah.
Right. Like focus on feeling good. Vegetables are not bad for you just because when you eat that one, it makes you feel a little off. And because that's what happens to me, right?
Yeah.
Well, I still eat plenty of spinach and cook it down because I know it's good for me.
Yeah.
Right. It's a single ingredient item. Micronutrients, macronutrients, good. Mm-hmm. I'm in a good
Just
spot.
rules of thumb, y'all.
Yep. Easy stuff.
And this leads us into our last fad that we're going to talk about, or our last myth, I guess, not fad.
Same thing.
We haven't even said fad. That the myth is that diets have to be complex and executed perfectly 24/7 for them to work. And what we were just laying out was how simple it can be.
That's right.
And so go ahead, Phil.
Yeah. Well, this one definitely starts from, you remember when we first started, we were talking about how and why these things start. Mm-hmm. One of the points was that when someone loses weight a certain way, they make you believe that's the only way.
Sure.
And I feel like that's the case that's going on here. Mm-hmm. And let's just put this out there. Some people are more disciplined than others.
Yep.
Right. That's just a fact of the matter. It's human nature. There's different types of people in this world. So but
I think discipline can be, I think it's a perishable skill that you can hone.
For sure. And it can go in both directions. It can be perished or it can be grown.
Sure.
Right. It can go both ways. But the point is that a lot of people, when they first start, are not very disciplined.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but if you're in a bad place with your health and fitness, it's probably because you haven't been very disciplined.
All right.
Let's just be honest about the situation. Yeah, you've had bad habits. So when someone's first getting started, the likelihood of them being able to do anything perfectly is very slim. But maybe somebody they know that lost weight did a perfectly rigid diet, ate chicken and broccoli 3 times a day, did 45 minutes of cardio, and lifted weights 3 times a week. And they did that for 6 months and they lost weight. And now you see that person, you think that that's the only way.
Right.
And it's just, it's not true. And they probably told you, hey, this is what you have to do.
Yeah, this is what I did.
And that's I don't really know if it's like a complex that they've gained from going through this great progress and they've achieved a lot. So they think they know a lot, which is fine. I mean, I think that if you've been through it, you've earned the right maybe to give a little bit of advice, but you need to be trained properly and make sure that you're giving that advice properly as well. Sure. Because if you're not, you're definitely setting someone up for success. If you make them feel like any little thing messes up their entire journey. Right. Because one, it's not true. But the other thing that happens to a lot of people is as soon as they mess up a little bit, they just spiral off the rails. Yeah, you have one cookie, now you have a dozen.
So I'm watching this show right now, my new little guilty pleasure, and it's called I think it's called Big Woman, Big Love, something like that. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
And there is
never heard of it.
Dude, it's probably the craziest show that I've seen in a long time as far as like the things that they say to people that are of bigger stature and curvier stature. It's just wild. The camera angle's wild. It's just insane, like how they portray the show. But there's a girl on there, her name's Jennifer, and she lost 110 pounds. And she's like, oh dude, she's a badass, but she wants everyone to know it. And so she's at this like conference with these other women that are, like I said, a little bit bigger. She's still bigger. She's still like in the 2 mark, area. But she's telling them that this is how I lost the weight. And she's like kind of projecting in a way like, this is how I did it. This is how you have to do it. And she's like, oh, I'm not eating this stuff. Y'all are eating this trash, this garbage, and kind of making these people kind of feel like shit. And it's just like and so going upon on your point of saying, be careful when you're trying to because you can help people for sure. I think it's great that she lost that much weight, but it's like, man, the way you go about it, it's like, oof, man, kind of
you have to be extremely,
just a little bit.
You have to be extremely careful when you're comparing your journey to someone else's.
Exactly.
Right. You have to take it into account where they're coming from. Not this thing works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for them. And in my opinion, flexibility is important to sustainability. Yeah. Right. We want to help people. Obviously we're mostly talking about weight loss here, but fitness in general, we really want people to be sustainable over the long term.
Sure.
Right. And if we don't allow any flexibility, the likelihood of that happening is very slim, over the long term. Now, we also must say that the word flexibility doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want, not get results and call it flexible and then get upset about it.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be flexible within reason.
Yeah.
You know,
I like it. So these are our myths, and there's a couple more. Shawn, I want to bring these up because Shawn sent them in the group earlier, and we don't have to go into them because they kind of fall. One of them kind of falls in line with some of the other stuff we've talking about. Basically, the myth is that you need to detox your body. You need to do a detox diet.
That irks me to no end.
The little detox teas, the little green bag teas.
We don't have to go into this, but your body, most people's body, there's others that have disorders of types, right? That maybe they can't. Most people's bodies detox themselves through the liver, kidneys, etc., right? And you just need to clean up your diet and start exercising, right? So I'm going to look into the camera and say, don't do a detox.
No, if anything is labeled detox,
if somebody's telling you have to detox,
take out of package, place directly in toilet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So we don't have to talk about that one anymore. And I love this next one.
This is a good one as
Shawn.
well.
Both of these last two are Shawn's.
This is good as well.
These are Shawn's brain children, and they're good. Eating late. The myth is eating late at night causes weight gain. Simply not true.
Or prevents weight loss.
Or prevents weight loss.
No.
Now, I will say it's likely, and I want to say I read a study on this one time that I, again, can't cite. I'm failing here today. But I want to say that it said it can have an ill effect on digestion.
Sure.
If you eat right before going to lay down. So I think it was recommended you do like, if you eat shortly before bed, a small amount of activity is recommended.
Super helpful to get digestion rolling. Yes, for sure.
And I personally like to eat a little bit earlier in the evening. Like say if I'm going to bed at 9, I like to eat at 6:30 at the latest, and then go for a walk after for digestion. Not because I'm scared that it's going to cause me to gain weight. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. Calories in versus calories out. If there's less calories in than calories out, you're going to lose weight. And the opposite is also likely true. And you don't have to like it, but those are the facts, right?
Yeah. I remember when I was in college, I would eat and I was in the best shape I've ever been in. I would eat dinner at 1 a.m. and go to bed at 2 all the time. And I was totally fine. But go ahead, Shawn, because I have one thing to say about this and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I just had a small little point to add about it too. Is usually if you're eating that late at night, you probably had like a time discrepancy somewhere. So you're probably eating like a prep meal. Dude, usually at 1, 2 in the morning, ain't nothing but bullshit open.
Exactly.
Whataburger, and McDonald's and stuff like that.
That was part of my point where I kind of want to wrap this up on this topic is that your discipline is likely a lot lower at night.
Right.
There's less options, like Shawn's saying.
It's proven too that the more tired you are, the less likely you are to be disciplined.
Yes.
As a general
for
statement.
sure. So in general, you're probably going to overeat at night because your discipline is, and there's not a lot of things to do. So you just kind of eat and then you eat too much.
Yeah. So I'm going to read these 2 sentences and we can wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Weight gain is primarily determined by the total number of calories consumed and expended throughout the day. Absolutely correct. What matters the most is quality and quantity of food you eat throughout the day, not what time you eat it. Right?
Yes.
So true. I love that. I wanted to throw those in there. They didn't make it to Phil had a meeting and they didn't make it on here, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss them. So shout out Shawn for the last 2. And has anybody got anything else?
I think we covered it.
We'll get together some more myths to bust.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get together some more.
I have some myths that we can confirm too. I'm sure.
Oh, probably
out there.
Yeah, I think that to wrap this up, just be careful out there. Be careful what you hear, what you listen to. Don't always take just because something sounds easy.
Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Read studies. There's studies posted all online.
They're all over the place. And use common sense. I hate to say this because in my opinion, these things are very simple, but I heard someone tell me the other day that they don't eat fish because this person they really look up to online says that fish rots in their large intestine.
Crickets.
Let me see. What do I got for that one?
But the unfortunate part of this is the person believes it.
Right.
And as comical as it may seem to us, and as easily as we can sit here and say that, hey, just use some common sense. Like that's easy for us to say,
right?
You know, but I want to say that, like, really think things through.
Sure.
Even the stuff that I say.
Yeah.
If I tell you something, if you come to talk to me for help with your nutrition, or help with your fitness in any way, like, double check what I tell you.
Right. Yeah. Please be skeptical.
Yes.
Be skeptical at all times. Right. Do your own research. Find out for yourself. Think for yourself. And I'm going to wrap this up with a spinoff of the Hodge twins. So they used to have, they don't do these types of videos as much anymore, but they basically at the end say, like I said, I'm going to paraphrase it here.
I remember.
Hey, all of this is what we like or what we do, but you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yes.
And that's how they would close the videos, right?
I remember those.
So in short, it was a little more brash, but do what works, do your research, figure out what works for you and do that.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we say, or the guy with the rotting fish online guy says, or the guru guy who lost 50 pounds at work or whatever. Don't do your own research. Of course, you can take what they say and go, oh, okay, that worked for him. I'm going to look into that, and then look into it.
Right.
Not, okay, I'm doing it now. Anything else, guys?
That's it.
All right, y'all. Like, subscribe. Tell me my mustache looks good in the comments. All that stuff.
It does
right?
look good. I'll tell you, it looks good right now.
Well, I'm about to
person.
I'm about to go on turnaround, so I'll be growing it even longer. You know.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
guys. We're gonna close
forward
this
to
one
that.
out later. Do whatever you want.